Dictation will start in 5 seconds. Start. In the court of competent jurisdiction, the present matter arises from a petition filed by the applicant seeking relief against the respondent for alleged breach of contractual obligations and failure to perform duties in accordance with agreed terms. Stop. The applicant submits that despite repeated notices, the respondent neglected responsibilities, thereby causing substantial financial loss and reputational damage. Stop. It is further contended that the agreement executed between parties clearly outlines conditions, timelines, and consequences which have been deliberately ignored. Stop. Therefore, the applicant prays for appropriate directions, compensation, and any other relief deemed just and proper as per law and equity principles. Stop. The respondent, on the other hand, denies all allegations and states that obligations were fulfilled in substantial compliance with contractual requirements and any deviation, if occurred, was due to unforeseen circumstances beyond reasonable control. Stop. It is argued that notices allegedly served were neither valid nor properly communicated, thereby rendering claims unsustainable. Stop. The respondent further contends that the applicant has suppressed material facts and approached this court without clean hands. Stop. Accordingly, dismissal of the petition is sought with costs, asserting that no cause of action survives for consideration in the present proceedings under applicable statutes and binding judicial precedents governing disputes. Stop. The record placed before this court includes documentary evidence, affidavits, correspondence, and relevant annexures submitted by both parties in support of respective claims and defenses. Stop. Upon perusal, it appears that certain issues were require detailed examination, including interpretation of contractual causes, validity of notices, and extent of alleged breach. Stop. The court must also determine whether the conduct of either party amounts to violation of principles of good faith and fair dealing. Stop. Therefore, it becomes necessary to frame appropriate issues and proceed with adjudication in accordance with established procedure and applicable law governing such matters for effective resolution and final determination thereof. Stop. During the course of hearing, learned counsel for the applicant emphasized urgency and irreparable harm, submitting that delay would defeat the very purpose of seeking judicial intervention. Stop. Conversely, learned counsel for the respondent argued that interim relief is unwarranted as no prima facie case exists in favor of the applicant and balance of convenience lies with the respondent. Stop. It was further argued that granting relief at this stage would amount to prejudging the matter. Stop. The court, having considered submissions, is required to evaluate whether interim protection is justified pending final adjudication of the dispute between parties on merits after trial. Stop. In view of the pleadings, documents, and submissions advanced, this court is inclined to direct parties to maintain status quo with respect to subject matter of the dispute until further orders. Stop. Both parties are also directed to complete pleadings within stipulated time and produce additional evidence, if any, supporting their respective positions. Stop. Liberty is granted to mention the matter for urgent hearing upon completion of procedural requirements. Stop. It is clarified that observations made herein are prima facie in nature and shall not influence final adjudication on merits of the case by this court at appropriate stage in accordance with law. Stop. Accordingly, the matter is listed for further proceedings on a date to be fixed by the registry, subject to compliance of directions issued herein. Stop. The registry is directed to ensure that copies of this order are communicated to parties without delay. Stop. Failure to comply with directions may result in adverse consequences, including dismissal of claims or defenses as deemed appropriate. Stop. Parties are expected to cooperate with the process and avoid unnecessary adjournments. Stop. Ordered accordingly, this judgment shall form part of the official record and be binding upon the parties, subject to remedies available under law, including appeal, revision of review. Stop.